Hi everyone, happy Friday. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9. We're learning more about an investigation into the murder of a Sarcoxie, Missouri woman.
An unprecedented amount of security is in the works for Inauguration Day, just 5 days away. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with a look at what to expect. Plus, investigations into last week's deadly attack are also underway.
Doug Heddy has weather. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Investigators with the Jasper County Sheriff's Office spent part of their afternoon conducting a traffic checkpoint in Sarcoxie as they look for leads after the death of our Sarcoxie woman. The officers conducted their checkpoints next to the Come and Go on High Street. A white male suspect in the death of Sarcoxie's Becky Sanders was possibly sighted at that gas station. The suspect is also accused of stealing a Subaru Legacy from the victim's home.
We're basically looking for anyone that came through on Wednesday between 3 and 5:30. If they happen to notice anything they thought was suspicious or anything they thought that may benefit us with this case, we'd absolutely like to hear from them.
This is a photo of the missing car. It's a gray or silver 2015 Subaru Legacy. It has Missouri plates with the number VB1YOE. If you see this car, you are being asked to contact law enforcement immediately. Sergeant Williams said he couldn't reveal whether today's checkpoint had provided any new leads for investigators. Coffeyville, Kansas Police Department arrested a man in connection with a shooting investigation, and police are still looking for another person for questioning. Authorities arrested 28-year-old Zachary Puel on charges of second-degree attempted murder. Yesterday afternoon, police spotted a car speeding down Maple in Coffeyville, chased the car, but the occupants got away. Police say they later learned that the car was stolen and that people in the car, including Puel, were accused of shooting at someone. Authorities say they're also looking for 20-year-old Benjamin Whitaker from Independence. They want to bring him in for questioning. Authorities say Whitaker was the target in a separate shooting last year that killed 19-year-old Kimberly Meeks. A Joplin woman is dead after a crash earlier this morning. Happened 1 mile east of Carterville, Missouri. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says 56-year-old Cindy Renfrow was on Highway 171 when her vehicle left the road and struck a rock embankment. She was pronounced dead at the scene. State capitals across the country are increasing security. This after a warning from the FBI about potential armed protests on and around Inauguration Day. In Kansas, Governor Laura Kelly announced she's restricting access to the state capitol starting today through January 22nd. Only those with business before the legislature or the governor's office are allowed in the state capitol. The governor's memo announcing these security changes did not say what groups were planning protests or events. Oklahoma's governor says he's deploying the National Guard to the state capitol, of course in Oklahoma City. Governor Stitt says he's activated 75 Guard members. They're going to be active starting tomorrow through the 21st. The governor's office says there have been no specific threats in Oklahoma. Security is being boosted up throughout the nation's capital as the inauguration of Joe Biden as the next president is now just days away. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is over in D.C. with a look at preparations as well as ongoing investigations into last week's attacks at the Capitol.
It's becoming one of the hottest tickets in town with just 5 days to go until Joe Biden's inauguration. Preparations are underway in Washington for Wednesday's transfer of power, but the majority of the nearly 80 million Americans who voted for him will not be permitted to attend. In an unprecedented move, the National Park Service has now closed much of the National Mall starting now through next Thursday.
Enjoy it virtually on January 20th.
Across Washington, a transformed Capitol. Miles of barricades, fencing, and razor wire put up. On Capitol Hill, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi choked up in her weekly news conference, recalling last week's deadly riot at the Capitol.
It was so overwhelming.
Pelosi says protecting lawmakers is a top priority, naming retired Lieutenant General Russell Honore to lead a review looking into the attack as well as security at the Capitol. This as the Justice, Defense, and Interior departments also announced they will look into last Wednesday's attack.
We must subject this whole complex, though, to scrutiny in light of what happened.
FBI Director Wray warned Thursday that investigators are monitoring extensive online chatter, including calls for armed protests leading up to Inauguration Day. President Trump's departure from the White House Wednesday is expected to be unusual as well. Not only is he not attending the inauguration, but a military ceremony at Joint Base Andrews is now reportedly in the works before he flies home to Florida. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Fox News confirms the Defense Department has agreed to provide up to 25,000 service members to support Wednesday's presidential inauguration. That's 5 times more than Iraq and Afghanistan combined. Doug Hetty joining us now with our first look at the forecast. As expected, it's still going on, right? We were having a steady fall of, what are you doing over there? Mr. Doug Hetty. I'm used to people not paying attention to me, but so we'll try this again. As expected, we're having a steady fall of snow, but not too much is sticking around.
No, we got about 1/4 of an inch this morning, and then it melted, and it was just kind of melting on impact. But since it got dark, we got about another 1/4 of an inch, so about 1/2 inch of snow for us today. But temperatures into the 30s through most of the day, and we still have a few light snow showers out there, especially on the Missouri side, really from Monette, Aurora, and then stretching up toward Joplin, and then up I-49. But this whole storm system is wrapping up and starting to dissipate. So even though we're going to have some snow showers over the next few hours, all of this is going to roll out of here pretty quick. We'll drop back into the mid-20s later on tonight. A little bit warmer for us over the weekend. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thanks so much. Newton County, Missouri Health Department reports a coronavirus-related death. It was a man in his 60s. This brings the county's total deaths to 69. The Wilson County, Kansas Health Department is reporting 2 new deaths, bringing that county's total to 10. Yesterday, the state of Missouri announced it was moving to the next step of its COVID-19 vaccine distribution plan. And today, Mercy Hospital announced they're ready for that next step. The hospital is starting to vaccinate non-patient facing healthcare workers, first responders, and emergency personnel. Now, how do they determine that the folks getting the vaccine fit into this next phase? Well, they're just trusting that folks won't try to jump the line.
I think it's been very rewarding just to see at times the relief that many are feeling by feeling like they are now more protected from receiving the vaccine to not get COVID.
Mercy Health System has created an online application for vaccines. Crawford County, Kansas health officials are cautiously optimistic, they say, as COVID numbers begin trending downward. Officials updated county commissioners at their meeting today. KOAM's Chris Warner has more.
Officials with the Crawford County Health Department provided an update to county commissioners during their Friday meeting, citing that COVID numbers are trending downward. Deputy Health Director Teddy Van Kam says they're still watching the number closely.
But we also saw a trend in less testing as well. So of course, with less testing, you're going to have less numbers. So that, could be part of it as well.
County Commissioner Jeremy Johnson says it's still important to be cautious.
Just because there is an end in sight, it doesn't mean that now is the time to let up our guard. Now is the time to be more vigilant than ever, that we wear masks, that we socially distance, that we continue to be cautious.
Van Kam says they're still monitoring the numbers following the New Year's holiday, and they're keeping an eye on students returning to class at Pitt State.
We are in direct communication with PSU daily, I would say. So we're aware of what is going on because, of course, a lot of the athletes have already come back to college. So, they're so good at making sure they get everyone tested.
Johnson says they'll continue to monitor the trends in the county.
If things do get worse, then my impression is that we would need to move into some of those more restrictive things, whether it's limiting the number of people that can be in a place at a given time, or even, more restrictive than that, like we had back early on.
In Crawford County, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
For all the latest COVID vaccine information and resources, head over to our website, koamnewsnow.com/vaccine. Well, nationwide, hospitalizations and new cases are through the roof, officials say, as the post-holiday surge continues, while states are scrambling to beef up their vaccination programs. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seary has more now from Atlanta.
The numbers just keep ticking up. The daily average for new coronavirus cases still close to 250,000, with about 130,000 COVID-related hospitalizations. All these new cases putting a major strain on hospital systems across the country, including here in Georgia, where the state's biggest hospital, Grady in Atlanta, is now at 0% capacity. Statewide hospitalizations are up almost a third in the past 2 weeks, and officials are now pleading with the public to get back to basics when it comes to stopping the spread.
We must all continue wearing a mask, practicing social distancing, washing your hands, and heeding the regulations.
The state is also struggling to beef up its vaccination program, and that's a trend we're seeing nationwide. But some are doing better than others. West Virginia has the highest rate of vaccination in the country. They say they did it by working closely with local health care providers to get the shots where they're needed the most.
But you got to move. In a pandemic, you can't sit on your hands and try to work out a system or develop a committee. You got to move.
Across the country, states have now used about 40% of available doses, with very few side effects reported among those who have gotten at least one shot.
My arm's not sore, I had no reaction, and I come back February 3rd for my second round.
Sort of getting ready to get back to a semi-normal life and everything like that.
And we're expecting data from a third vaccine candidate, Johnson & Johnson, by the end of March. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor one of our four-state heroes. Christopher Moss has served in the U.S. Army. Native of Galena, Kansas, Moss has been stationed in Afghanistan, earning several awards. We are proud to thank Private First Class Christopher Moss. He is tonight's four-state hero. Doug Eddy's up next with a complete look at the forecast, and later. The Chinook Blue Comets aim to win their fourth straight SEK title this weekend. Going to hear from the Comets head coach in sports.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a cloudy, snowy day for us today. We had the bands of light snow showers pretty much all day long, which you can see on our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Tower Cam. Kind of took over the Tower Cam by the afternoon and the evening hours, but had about a quarter of an inch this morning, and then it all melted, and then all the snow all afternoon was just kind of melting on impact, and then after dark we picked up about another quarter of an inch, so about a half an inch of snow for us today. 32 in Fort Scott, 34 in Oswego, Miami, Carthage at 33, Neosho at 32, Yates Center sitting at 33. Eventually we'll drop back down into the mid-20s later on tonight. Northwesterly winds kicking in. It's been windy all day long, so that snow is just kind of blowing around, but still we're getting those northwest winds at about 10 to 15 miles per hour and gusts upwards of about 20 miles per hour. The snow showers are slowly dissipating. You can see that we still have them out there, especially in southwestern parts of Missouri. But these are just light little bands of snow showers, really from Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, and then through Webb City, Carthage, and then over toward Monette and Aurora. And again, these are going to be dissipating over the next several hours as this whole storm system is kind of regenerating and pushing off toward the east. But all the snow, you can see it's still spinning out across a big real estate. Actually, it covers from about Wichita all the way to about New York, so it covers about half of the country. But this whole storm system will slowly work out of here as we work into the next couple days, so we'll push it off toward the east, and then it looks better as we work into the next couple days. For us tonight, clouds, flurries, snow showers over the next couple hours. Then just cloudy skies. Temperatures drop back into the mid-20s. The clouds will slowly start to break up as we work into the morning hours, and I think by afternoon we actually look pretty good. Still going to be chilly, but warmer than what we had today. Here's your day planner for you. 25 to start, 36 by noon. High temp right around 41. Northerly winds still at about 10 to 15, but not near as windy as what we did see today. A few clouds start to increase again for us tomorrow night into Sunday morning. We have a weak wave passing through northern parts of Missouri by the time we head into Sunday afternoon. This could give us a random shower, a random snow shower late in the day on Sunday. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but something we'll keep our eyes on. Chiefs and the Browns, playoffs, divisional round, 2:05 Sunday afternoon. Really not bad. Temperatures right around 40. There could be a random snow shower up there as well, but in general, the weather is looking pretty good for the Chiefs game. Next week, The blue days are kind of chilly days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We warm up a bit on Wednesday and then back down Thursday and Friday. Rain chances on Tuesday, Thursday, into Friday. But the following week, we have better chances for some wintry weather, which we'll definitely keep our eyes on. 41 tomorrow, 43 on Sunday. Those rain chances move in late Monday into Tuesday, and then again late Thursday into Friday.
All right, Hetty, get ready. Next time we see you in the show, later in the show, I'm going to ask you your score prediction for the Chiefs.
Okay.
All right?
I got it.
All right, man. We'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Coming up, President-elect Biden giving some more details on his coronavirus relief plan. Going to hear from him after this break.
Hey,
mattress.
President-elect Biden laying out his plans for the coronavirus vaccination, attempting to get it out to as many people as possible as fast as possible. Fox News correspondent Peter Ducey looks at the specifics tonight from Wilmington, Delaware.
The president-elect was briefed this week about threats to his inauguration by the Secret Service and the FBI, and now he's sharing his takeaway with Fox News.
Do you feel safe about Wednesday based on the intelligence that you've seen?
Yes. Biden was briefed today by his COVID-19 team and then expressed confidence in his plan to administer 100 million vaccinations in 100 days.
We'll manage the hell out of this operation.
Even though he admits it's ambitious.
This is a time to set big goals, to pursue them with courage and conviction, because the health of the nation is literally at stake.
His vaccination effort will rely on the Defense Production Act
to accelerate the making of materials needed to supply and administer the vaccine, from the tubes and syringes to protective equipment.
And the next president stresses meaningful relief isn't possible overnight.
The policy changes that we're going to be making are going to take time to show up in the COVID statistics. And they're not just statistics, it's people's lives.
The effort announced today is separate from his $1.9 trillion stimulus package rolled out last night.
A two-step plan of rescue and recovery. A two-step plan to build a bridge to the other side of the crisis we face to a better, stronger, more secure America.
The next administration is promising to always be transparent with the American people, but details about the inaugural address remain unknown.
I could become the shortest-lived chief of staff in White House history if I start to talk about the inaugural address this afternoon, because it's been a closely held secret. He's worked on it virtually the entire transition.
Biden hinted today he'll take aim at Americans who politicize mask wearing with a message for those who refuse to wear them.
It's time to grow up.
We confirmed today that the current vice president and the next vice president, Kamala Harris and Mike Pence, have spoken on the phone. It's the first time those two have talked to each other that we know about since their contentious October debate. But since the election, neither Pence or Trump have reached out to Joe Biden. In Wilmington, Delaware, Peter Ducey, Fox News.
Just ahead, those who have gotten the COVID-19 vaccine and those who haven't.
So here's a question. How can we keep track of who's actually gotten the COVID-19 vaccine and who hasn't? I'm Kevin Cork in Washington with more on a novel idea from a team of technology and healthcare companies. That's coming up.
As more people get vaccinated, it's becoming more difficult to keep track of the nation's vaccination rate. Coalition of Technology and Healthcare Companies has developed a way to streamline this process. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork has these details.
You've heard of contact tracing. Well, now the next big challenge is vaccine tracing. Everyone who gets a COVID-19 vaccine receives a paper card containing important information, including when their booster shot is due. But critics say this system is old school, inconvenient, and slightly risky. That's why tech giants Microsoft and Oracle are teaming up with healthcare companies Cigna and the Mayo Clinic to launch the Vaccination Credential Initiative.
That credential would say, did you receive 1 dose or 2 doses? What kind did you receive? And that credential could be used as part of reopening society.
The goal is to digitize the vaccination record system, allowing patients easy access and better control over their immunization records. Each person would receive an encrypted digital copy of their vaccination status to store in a digital wallet on their phone. Those without smartphones would get a paper copy with QR codes. With this information readily available and unlikely to get lost, people can safely return to work, school, events, and travel.
If software companies across the country, across the world, are using one standard to display a vaccine credential initiative, we'll see all kinds of really innovative products under the control of consumers that they can then use in a trusted way as they need to get on aircraft or go back to work.
The coalition also says digital records reduce the risk of fake vaccination cards while ensuring a user's privacy. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Going to learn about what's believed to be the oldest surviving depiction of an animal. 4 State Zone back right after this. Talk about art history. Look at that. Experts believe this cave drawing of a warty pig is at least 45,000 years old. That would make it the oldest surviving depiction of an animal. Archaeologists found it on an Indonesian island painted in red in limestone caves. There are the caves right there, or the mountains anyway. They think it shows the animal watching 2 other warty pigs in a fight or other interaction. Isn't that cool? You know, the art of telling stories for future generations. Pretty cool. All right, 30 more minutes. News, weather, and sports coming away. How Watered Gardens in Joplin came up with a new name for their thrift shop.
Rescue efforts are underway as a strong earthquake strikes Indonesia. I'm Benjamin Hall in London with all the details coming up.
Watered Gardens in Joplin has renamed its thrift store. It's now called the Garden Exchange. The Exchange is a place where people can donate new or gently used items, which workers can earn through service. The new name was decided on by the workers of Watered Gardens.
So we were landing on a whole bunch of different ideas. We felt like Garden Exchange really centered in on what we wanted to do as well as represented the ministry well.
The worker who came up with the chosen name, the Garden Exchange, received a prize. And I agree, it's a good name. Good job. Cherokee County, Kansas Sheriff David Groves is warning people about scammers posing as healthcare officials regarding COVID-19 vaccines. Listen up. Sheriff Groves says the scammers will call or message you and ask if you're interested in getting the vaccine. From there, they will try to get you to say yes, try to convince you, or release personal information like your address or even social security number. The sheriff says legitimate organizations distributing vaccines don't ask for personal information over the phone.
And nobody should feel embarrassed if they fall victim to this. Immediately contact law enforcement so that we can help safeguard your assets.
As the sheriff is just saying briefly, officials say you generally shouldn't give out personal information to unprompted callers. The Better Business Bureau is warning of people calling you or your business about missed opportunities for COVID-19 relief money. These scammers may also offer you a processing fee to speed up getting that relief money.
Legitimate organizations, you should be reaching out to them first. But if they are reaching out to you, they should be reaching out to you via the letter. You shouldn't be getting anything from them on social media, targeting you specifically in a private message.
If you have financial questions about COVID-19 relief money from the federal government, it might be a good idea to just ask a tax preparer or a financial expert with a good reputation. Pittsburgh State University is mourning the passing of Dr. Fay Bradley, a 1960 graduate of Pitt State. He donated $1 million to PSU's Irene Ransom Bradley School of Nursing. Pitt State says that money transformed the Department of Nursing at Pitt State. Dr. Bradley was 83 years old. Thousands of people are being displaced in Indonesia after a strong earthquake hits overnight. A search and rescue operation is underway right now to locate survivors. Fox News correspondent Benjamin Hall has more.
A devastating earthquake strikes Indonesia early Friday, killing dozens of people and injuring hundreds of others on the country's Sulawesi island. The 6.2 magnitude quake hit just after midnight, trapping many residents who were sleeping. Indonesia's disaster agency says at least 300 homes suffered damage and some 15,000 residents are displaced. Several hotels and government buildings have been reduced to rubble. One of the area's biggest hospitals was forced to temporarily move patients to an emergency tent.
All those affected by the earthquake with health or serious health problems can be evacuated. We will provide support and health care for all.
Search and rescue teams are racing to find survivors caught underneath the damaged structures, but they're facing obstacles. Downed power lines are interrupting communication, while landslides are blocking rescue crews from reaching major roads.
Because land access is cut off due to the quake, we sent logistics here by sea, so we have sent everything by sea.
A UN spokesman says efforts are underway to bring supplies to the region.
National authorities have so far mobilized 4 helicopters, tents and mattresses, special kits for children and the elderly, food and medical assistance, including orthopedic and psychosocial support.
A 5.9 magnitude earthquake struck the same region on Thursday and damaged several homes. In London, Benjamin Hall, Fox News.
A little bit later, employers saying get the COVID-19 vaccine or else.
Can companies require employees to get a COVID-19 vaccine? I'm Ashley Strohmeyer with the answer to that question and why some companies are even offering financial incentives straight ahead.
Well, of course, it turned out to be kind of a raw, nasty day for us today with the snow showers most of the day, but temperatures kind of hovering just above freezing. We actually accumulated about 1/4 to 1/2 inch during the morning hours, and then it just kind of melted on impact all afternoon. And then once it's become dark again, we've had about 1/4 of an inch of accumulation again. So about 1/2 inch for the day. Very evident on our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Tower cam as it took on the snow late into the day. Temperatures right now, most of us are hovering at or just above freezing, but it's been very windy. We've had these strong northwesterly winds all day long. They have diminished a little bit, but they're still pretty strong at about 15 to 25. And this is where they're going to stay tonight and even kind of breezy once again as we go through the daytime hours for us tomorrow. We still have some light snow showers out there. You can see they've been slowly dissipating as we have worked through the past several hours, but still a pretty good band really from Fort Scott over toward Nevada, just north of Pittsburgh, and then around Carthage, Neosho, Monette, Aurora, down toward Cassville and Bentonville. So we are picking up still some light snow showers, but these are all going to dissipate or continue to dissipate over the next couple hours as this whole storm system wraps up. Look how much real estate it's covering, really from Wichita all the way to about Boston. So the whole eastern half of the country is being somewhat affected by this big monster area of low pressure. It is working out of here, and our weather conditions will improve as we work into tomorrow. So most of the snow showers dissipating over the next couple hours, but we're still going to have the clouds. We'll drop back into the 20s as we work into the overnight hours, about 25 degrees. But at least some sunshine for us tomorrow. Still kind of chilly, but we are going to go near 40, 25 to start, 36 by noon. High temp right around 41 during the afternoon. A few clouds start to work back in tomorrow night, and we have a very weak wave that is going to pass mainly northeast of us on Sunday, but it could give us a random shower late in the day. Chiefs game, Chiefs versus the Browns. Really not that bad. There could be a random snow shower, but temperatures near 40 throughout the game. Northwest winds, a little breezy at about 10 to 15. All right, looking down the road next week, we have a system on Tuesday into Wednesday. It's going to be cool. We'll warm up a bit on Wednesday. And then a system Thursday into Friday. The one Thursday into Friday may give us a little wintry weather on the backside, but it doesn't look like anything big right now. The following week, around the 26th, a bigger storm system, probably rain, but then as the second wave comes in on Thursday, that could be ice or snow. So we're going to watch that over the next couple weeks. 41 for us tomorrow, 43 Sunday, 53 on Monday, back to 54 by Wednesday.
All right, Doug. You got out early. That's because you're wanting to talk about the Chiefs-Browns. So who you got, man, and by how much?
I got the Chiefs.
Okay, of course.
I do think they'll win. 35-24. Okay. I think it's going to be a bigger margin than that. I really think the Chiefs are going to be up like 35-14, and then the Browns get some trash points at the end. So I think they'll win. They better win.
You're the expert, man, and I mean that. I sincerely mean that. You're the expert. Go Chiefs. All right, Doug, thanks so much.
Love my Chiefs.
Coming up in sports, the Girard Trojans trying to stay perfect in league play against Frontenac. Plus, Chanute Wrestling's aims to continue its dominance in the SEK. Sports Director Jacob Leonard has the story next.
The Chanute Blue Comets are currently ranked number 2 in the 4A state wrestling rankings. The defending state champs have their eyes on a repeat this winter, but first, they host the SEK League Duels on Saturday with hopes of claiming their 4th straight league championship. After claiming the 4A state title last year, the Chanute Blue Comets have had a target on their back all season.
I didn't really know what to expect this year, but we just kind of keep doing the same thing that we're doing and try to get better and worry about us and not worry about other teams.
This weekend will be no different, with the Comets aiming for their 4th consecutive SEK League title at their place on Saturday.
I would say we'd get to have fans, but not this year, so don't really have the home mat advantage there, but it's nice not to travel.
Chanute is 8-4 heading into Saturday. Fresh off their state championship, they've made it a point to wrestle against the best this season in preparation for another title run.
At the beginning of the year, we wrestled the number 1 6A school already. We've wrestled the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 ranked kids or teams in 5A. Really went out and tried to wrestle the toughest opponents we could by dual schedule.
While repeating at state is the end goal, earning the SEK title this weekend still means something to this team.
To me, it does. To our community it does, and to our boys it does. So yeah, I think so. Anytime you can crown yourself the SEK champs, it's important, it's good for your program, and it's good for your community. So it is really important to us. I tell the boys, anytime we can compete to put something on the wall, it means a lot, because that stays in our school and it stays forever.
Chanute has 7 wrestlers currently ranked in the individual state rankings, including 3 who are number 1 in their respective weight classes. The SEK duels will get started at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning at Chanute High School. To some basketball now. The Girard boys aim to get to 4-0 in the CNC tonight against Frontenac. First quarter, Rigby Bourne drives and scores. Trojans up 3 after 1. But in the second, Frontenac made shots. Mario Mangini hit 2 threes in the second, had a team-high 13. Aaron Doria, left side, 2 threes for him in the second. Brody O'Malley caps it off with a long ball of his own. 5 threes for the Raiders in the second quarter alone. They're up 9 at halftime. Now in the third, off the miss here, Jordan Fudge with the rebound. Put it down, man. Fudge scores 12. Frontenac would go on ahead and finish off this game. Caston Fields, 3 from the right wing. Raiders and the Trojans their first league loss tonight, 50-37. Well, it's finally playoff time for the Kansas City Chiefs. After a bye week to begin the postseason, Kansas City hits the field on Sunday against the Browns in the AFC divisional round. Like every Friday night, it's time to hear now from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis, in this week's Minute with Mitch.
Last week on the Minute with Mitch, I mentioned how the Chiefs have made history, game after game, week after week. Well, the Chiefs are 4-1 in their last 5 playoff games. It took 55 years prior to that to win 2 postseason home games. This week, they're going to go for their 4th home postseason victory in 3 years. Overall, of the 28 players on the Chiefs team, only 1 has a losing playoff record. Defensive end Alex Okafor, who missed last year's Super Bowl run with an injury. After years of looking for any playoff wins from any Chief, now this current team carries winning confidence and experience into Sunday's divisional playoff game against the Browns. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and the rest have changed history as much as they've made history on this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry. Every day's game day, Como Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
Sunday's game will kick off at 2:05 p.m. on our sister station, KOAM. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Many people have been debating whether or not to get that COVID-19 vaccine, but here's the thing. Will everyone have a choice in the matter to begin with? Some companies are requiring their employees to get the shot before returning to work. And as Fox News correspondent Ashley Strohmeyer reports, this is completely legal.
With vaccinations across the country well underway, you might be wondering if your employer can require you to get a vaccine. The answer from the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is yes, with a few exceptions for religious or medical reasons. While companies can legally mandate vaccinations, most are only encouraging them, and some are offering financial incentives.
I'll happily pay for all staff members to have it done and be paid and have it done in their work time.
Dollar General will reward its employees with 4 hours of pay for getting the vaccine, and Trader Joe's will offer 2 hours of pay per dose. One mayor in Georgia is even handing out $200 gift cards to any city employee who gets their injection in a timely manner.
We want to make sure everybody has a sense of urgency to get the vaccine. That's why we came up with the $200 gift card, so that we, when the time comes and our employees are able to receive that vaccine, that they'll hurry right out.
One worker says that $200 will probably change his mind.
You have your doubts, but when the city offers its employees $200, that's a great incentive.
But not everyone is on board just yet.
I'm going to wait to see what happens.
Turns out many people actually wouldn't mind getting jabbed for their jobs. A LinkedIn survey found 46% of U.S. employees actually agree with companies mandating vaccines. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
All right, when we come back, an inside look at this season's Servant on Apple TV+. The supernatural thriller Servant, about a doll that may or may not be a real baby. It's a long story. Servant has dropped the first episode of season 2. The cast gives us a sneak peek at what viewers can expect in the upcoming new episodes. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has the story.
We've taken Jericho. The cast of M. Night Shyamalan's psychological horror series Servant is back with season 2. And they say viewers can expect things to take a supernatural turn in the upcoming episodes.
Why haven't you told her what she did?
It feels like a very different show, I think, because right off the bat, it carries on, I think it's a few hours after the first season finale. And instantly the dynamics change.
The new season follows married couple Dorothy and Sean Turner, going to extreme lengths to get their son Jericho back from their in-home nanny who disappeared with the baby.
It's a desperate season. A mom and a dad, but primarily a mom trying to get her child back, which she believes has been abducted. And the lengths that she goes to do this, and it gets very dark. And I think characters are doing things that you are going, wow, I can't believe she did that, or they did that.
My character is definitely asked to do some questionable acts.
What is this?
Sean, in the meantime, is just kind of keeping his own secrets and trying to fill in those cracks.
The true nature of the mysterious nanny, played by actress Nell Tiger-Free, is revealed when she reappears.
She comes back with a vengeance. We definitely see her take a big turn from the character we have gotten to know in season 1. And by the end of season 2, she's borderline unrecognizable.
We are running out of time.
The first episode of season 2 is now available to stream on Apple TV+, with new episodes being released weekly. Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that is our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with video of a dog sled race. Look at those eyes, blue eyes. Dog sled race through the French Alps. Hey, have a great, safe weekend. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.